Hi, this is Stella Williams, and you're watching the Serpentine Creative Channel. Today, I will be continuing my series, The Right Process, and discussing outlines. So first off, I would like to say that this is not, absolutely not, going to turn into a plotter versus pantser debate. Honestly, for me, it doesn't matter because there's a wide range of authors and writers out there, and everyone's process is different. These are just my opinions on the writing process. So if this jives with you, cool. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's no harm, no foul for you watching and just seeing what my experience is with this. So, outlines. Doesn't matter if you're a plotter or a pantser. At some point, you're going to outline your work. Like, especially if you're writing a full-length novel, like, that's just a lot of stuff to try and keep up with. So you're gonna eventually have to write down somewhere or log somewhere a rundown of what's happening in your story, what your characters are going to be like, what your scenes and settings are going to be like, whether you do it first before you sit down to write, like most plotters do, or if you do it in the editing process, which I feel like most pantsers would do. Or maybe you do it as you're writing because you're in between. You're a plotter and pantser. You start off pantsing and then you plot out. Once you run out of your pantser steam, then you need to figure out what happens next. Then maybe you'll start making your outline and plotting it out. So your outline can be anything you want it to be. It could be a line chart, it could be a graph, it could be a pie chart. You could follow like story grid where you have like acts, act 1, act 2, act 3. You can be very freeform about it, have like a vision board, use a program like Notebook AI to help you organize things, or if you use Scrivener like I do, they have fun little virtual note cards or timelines, or you can just go all out and take up a whole wall and use sticky notes or note cards, or maybe get a cork board, have a giant erase board, dry erase board, like whatever floats your boat, whatever helps out your creative process. There's always going to be a time where you need to have some sort of visual of your work other than just your words on the page. So, just go ahead and take the time to do it. Me personally, I do a little bit of everything. I identify as a pantser, so a lot of my writing is just like stream of consciousness. But I know that I'm going to want to organize all of that at some point. So what I try to do is I focus on a specific scene and I do my stream of consciousness. And then I take all of the scenes that I've written and I write like a little summary on a note card. And then it's like a giant puzzle for me. I just sit and I can shuffle them around and see what fits where there's holes, how to connect the scenes and make it flow better. And that seems to work out really well for me because it's a way for me to see my story and how it will flow over just knowing what it's going to be like in my head and making sure. And it's also an easy way for me to have, other people help me out without giving away everything that I'm doing in my story. Because if I have just like little summaries without too much detail and it's just note cards and I can put it together and then I can have a friend come over, one of my writing buddies, or even just my husband come in and be like, does this sound like it kind of flows in a good way? And if they say, oh, you know, this doesn't really seem like it should go here, like, this is an easy way, like, for me, so I don't have to give away too much of my work, but still get some feedback about story structure. And also when I'm stuck, when I'm having writer's block. Oh no, I said it, writer's block. I know it's a hotly debated topic, if it's real, if it's not. For me, I think it's real. I have gone through it. I have tons of ways that I try to mitigate that, but it does happen. So when I do get into a spot where I'm just like struggling hardcore for ideas, I'm not sure where I'm going with the story, being able to just put it up on the wall or do my note cards, or like I said, in Scrivener, they have virtual note cards. Like being able to look at it in that way can sometimes help me out, because I can see like, okay, I've gotten this chunk and I feel like it's pretty complete and good, but over here, there's some things that I could really use to work on. So that's why I say outlining is important. It doesn't matter if you're a plotter or if you're a pantser. Obviously, if you're a plotter, this is not new information to you. You probably like can't even survive without some sort of outline plan before you even get your like first words done with your draft. You probably have all your characters sketched out and all of that stuff. Kudos to you. That's just not how I work. Half the time, I don't even know my character's name or personality when I start writing. I just pick a name out of a hat. And their personality is based on however they're speaking to me at that time. And obviously that's stuff that I have to kind of clean up in editing. So if you're a pantser and you don't want to do a lot of like editing, if you want to minimize some of the editing process for yourself, maybe test out being a plotter for your next piece of work. And I said for people who are writing full length novels, but also for short stories too, like just having a general outline can really help you with creating that of like a well-rounded story, even though it's not as long as a full novel, you know, because stories need a beginning, middle, and an end, you know, and you don't want it to feel rushed, and you don't want to feel, you want it to feel like a complete story. So outlining beforehand, or maybe even after or during will help you to realize that in your own writing. So that's my little spiel on outlining. If you want to know a little bit more, I wrote a blog post on this. I'll have the link down in the description box. And as always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you really enjoyed, hit that little bell marker so that you can get notified of new videos that I have made. Thanks for watching.